Do you have extra, perhaps older, smaller NVMe SSDs lying around that you don't know what to do with? Do you need extra secondary storage on your PC? Today, I'm reviewing two NVMe storage enclosures that could help address those needs. With NVMe SSD capacities growing and prices dropping, I decided to upgrade two computers at home with higher capacity ones. That left me with several older, smaller SSDs that were still good. I'll be evaluating two NVMe enclosures that will allow for the reuse of these NVMe SSDs. Stay tuned for the review. I'll be reviewing two NVMe enclosures, one from Sabrent and the other from Dockcase. What they both have in common is that they both have slim aluminum housings, use USB-C connections running at 10 gigabits per second, and support NVMe SSDs up to 2280 in size and 4 terabytes in capacity. They both come with short USB-C cables. The Sabrent enclosure is tool-free. It opens with the press of a button and the cover flips open. The SSD slots in easily, and flipping a little plastic lever locks it in place. There is a piece of thermal tape that connects it to the top of the SSD to the metal cover, which doubles as a heatsink. It is nicely engineered and well built. The Dockcase enclosure is a little larger but well designed. It is an all aluminum enclosure except for the front, which is a dark tinted piece of plastic. It requires the use of a small screwdriver to open the case. The back plate is nicely made with fins to presumably better dissipate heat. There's a piece of tape to thermally connect the back plate to the NVMe. The NVMe is installed the usual way with a screw to secure the end. The product distinguishes itself because of a small 1 1/3 inch LCD screen that displays key information about the SSD, including the brand and capacity, life and operational status, temperature, read and write, and the type of USB connection. Long pressing the button at the side displays more information about the SSD, including information like serial number, firmware revision, power on cycles, read-writes on the SSD. The only button at the side of the case allows for the display orientation to be changed when double pressed. Each double press rotates the display orientation 90 degrees. It also has a 5-second data loss prevention feature. The device has a supercapacitor, a bright blue one you might have noticed in an earlier clip, that can allow the SSD to finish write operations if the power gets disconnected prematurely. The enclosure is well designed and aesthetically pleasing. My only complaint is that the display is too small, especially when there is so much information being displayed. Performance tests were conducted using the Crystal Dismark 8.05 test suite, running 2 iterations with 256 megabytes. The same NVMe was installed in the two enclosures and connected via a USB-C cable. Note that while both enclosures support USB 3.2 Gen 2 x 1, which has a theoretical transfer speed of 10 gigabits per second, the actual speed may be limited by the computer to which it is connected. On my system, I would get either a 5 or 10 gigabit per second connection, depending on which USB port I connected to. I ran the speed benchmarks on both 5 gigabits per second and 10 gigabits per second connections. As a reference, the same NVMe SSD was installed in a Gigabyte branded motherboard and connected via a PCIe 4 bus, and the performance measured. Here are graphs showing the results. The key takeaways are as follows. The performance of the two enclosures are, for all intents and purposes, the same. The 10 gigabit USB interface is obviously faster than the 5 gigabit version. The USB connection is the limiting factor. You can see from the graphs that the PCIe bus connected NVMe performed anywhere from about 3 to 8 times better than those in the external USB connected enclosures that are being reviewed. In summary, both products produce similar results. The best throughput is obtained with the 10 gigabit interface. However, that pales in performance compared with the NVMe installed directly on the motherboard. Thus, these enclosures should be used as secondary storage where performance is not as critical or portability is important. The Sabrent product is an easy-to-use one because of its toolless design and performs well for a very reasonable price. I like the fact that you can install an SSD in 15 seconds flat. The Dockcase enclosure performs about the same, but provides a bit of additional functionality with its display. The more technically inclined may find the additional information useful. It also has the 5-second data loss prevention feature. However, it costs almost twice the Sabrent enclosure. I've added links to both enclosures in the description, as well as the 3 NVMe SSDs that I used in my testing. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again in my next review.